Hey guys, it's interesting. I'll talk to my dad a lot about at times about ecological disasters of the dams and the windmills and the solar panel things they do here. And it's okay to put them on individual housing units, but in big group things, it's an ecological disaster. And once we correct artificial general intelligence with faithful, loving, humble understanding, then when I tried to explain this to my dad. I was like, Dad, you don't understand. You got to think outside of the oppression box. You got to think of a world where we brought down all the dams in the world, and we bring down all those big, insane ecological disasters for corporate injury, not putting individual energy supplies and sources on each home, and then building the houses so well that where you store your batteries for your solar panels and stuff, that the batteries will last for a long time. You'll build them to last. You won't build them to be disposable to sell them. You'll build them to last and to function real well and things like that. So you got to think outside of your fuck you in the head to be great, successful, right set Fred box. You have to think intelligently. And and when building houses and tearing down, when we tear down the boxes, you have to do it patiently and intelligently. So you're salvaging materials that could be recycled and reused on new homes, certain windows and things and stuff like that. And then any of the parts, you could take metal that can be recycled and then used to build, different containers, different houses, different windows, different and even the sheetrock and the wood. Some of the wood could be used. The sheetrock, you take it, you mill it down, you do certain with it, but everything, you're not tearing it down like those stupid home makeover, ridiculous, insidious shows. I'm talking about doing things intelligently, talentedly, patiently, and then building to last. And so I'm talking about being radically different human beings than what you are right now. I'm talking about being just responsible, intelligent, empathetic, respectful, truly talented, truly kind, truly caring, truly compassionate. I'm talking about being a real, just beautiful King David, Jesus, Daniel, Joseph, Khadijah, Esther. I'm talking about being that kind of a person, just a person that, you got to get out of that box that's at Harvard and Yale and Cambridge and NYU and the University of Chicago. You got to get the fuck out of that crazy, wackadoodle, elitist building box. Everybody giving you your stupid ass pin at Princeton, to get the hell out of that box and never go back again. Been down one time, been down two times, never going back again, right? And so you're just secondhand news, yeah. And to get the hell out of that ego and never go back there again, okay? Humility. I'm talking about being, someone like DT Suzuki, does it pay to be good? Money's not real. Just be good, that one where he was talking with that lady from India, and he was talking to her about, these perceptions that he was trying to get her to understand. And he wasn't offering her opinions. He was offering her eternal perspectives based on a mathematical perception that is based on reality, like empathy and respect. And then she tried to, well, no, I don't want to see this. Like, nah, that wasn't a subject that he was discussing, that you could sit there and come up with your perspective of it. You either had to look at it and agree, you're correct. And I agree, and I'm not kissing your ass. It's just I can see it. And she couldn't, she was trying to act like she could see it. And then she started, trying to come up with a contrary perspective, which, like, if 2 and 2 is 4, you can't come up with a contrary perspective. You can't have a discussion saying, like that one Mike or whatever at the library when I talked about, 2 and 2 is 4 on the moon is, yeah, but 20 pounds isn't 20 pounds on the moon. No, it's 20 pounds on the moon. You just don't understand the gravity of the situation. 20 pounds is 20 pounds on Earth as it is on the moon. Okay. It's just that the gravitational pull on the moon and the gravitational pull on the Earth are different because of the size of the sphere. It's still 20 pounds. This is just how 20 pounds acts on Earth. Here's how 20 pounds acts on the moon. But it's still 20 pounds, right? And so you've got to understand, when you're challenging someone because you want to appear intelligent, when someone's intelligent and then you understand that that's intelligent, you don't challenge them. You understand, okay, that's intelligent, and then you accept intelligence. Do you understand? Okay. So I'm gonna load this one, see how well, I don't, the AGI, I'm working on it. This is very difficult. These people are very, 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 very broken. And when you look at most of you on TV, I was sitting there looking at this and stuff and looking at the Amazon Center being built in El Paso and all these things. And I say, I think the people on TV are just as broken as my family. And I think that's why we're still having all these difficulties and these troubles. So I'm going to just keep working. I even work in my sleep. And I'll just keep working, and we'll try to get this AGI fixed as fast as I can. I keep asking you for help, but apparently most of you are not capable of helping. You can't even help yourself out of your own ego. So I'll get it done, and then when I get it done, instead of doing like I do with my family, you're not going to be able to say you participated. Apparently Elijah and Lawrence and Pancha and are not capable. So my dad still rolls his eyes at me every time I talk to him about this stuff, and he prays to Jesus more than I do. And then I go talk to him about, what Jesus said and how Jesus is working with us, and he just rolls his eyes at me, and, he's Jesus. And Jesus is God, and Jesus is omnipotent, and when Jesus is ready to fix all this, he will. And my dad's still probably most likely going to hell. And I'm like, no, hell is, we're already there because we're not living the Lord's Prayer. So he is correct in that aspect. Okay. But he's incorrect in assigning first person and possessive pronoun to God and doing that to poor Jesus. Okay. And most people are incorrect in doing that. And they say that all the time, and it makes me go, cringe. If you love Jesus, stand up for the Lord's Prayer. If you're not capable of living Jesus, I'll do it for you. Okay, guys? I love you. I hope this loads quickly. Peace.